Hi everybody. Michigan's under lockdown right now, but they're allowing us to at least get out and go to parks and hike around and stuff. And so I thought I would take advantage of that and come to a park here in Holland, Michigan on this rainy day and maybe start a series of really short botany lectures just as something to do. And so today we're going to talk about two plants that are very different from each other, totally different in how they look, but they actually have a really cool relationship. And so I'm going to start with this tree right behind me, and this is a beech tree. And I'll just show you a couple things on how you can identify it. It's still really in its winter stage right now, but a beech tree is so easy to spot any time of year. And first off, if you look at the buds on this, this is the terminal bud right here. You can see it's very long and sort of golden colored and very pointy. And that's pretty distinctive for the beech tree. And these little scales on it are called bud scales. And those are actually just highly modified leaves that protect during the winter time the developing bud, the growth area that's really fragile. So that's one characteristic that makes a beech easy to identify. But I think the one that really jumps out at most people is the trunk of the tree. And so the bark on a beech tree is really smooth. And you can see it's almost like a sheet of paper. And in fact, it's so smooth, people always want to carve things into it. And here's one, M plus J. You can see it on there. So I'm going to just tell you guys why that's a really bad idea to carve, like, you know, I heart so-and-so into a beech tree. Everybody's tempted to do it because it's like a blank sheet of paper. But I'll tell you the same reasons that I tell my students in the classroom. There are two reasons really to not do this. One is that when you carve, you know, I heart so-and-so or M plus J into this tree, you're opening that tree up to pathogens. And so there are fungal spores out there, there are viruses, all kinds of things that can make that tree very sick. It may not kill the tree, but it actually could. And so that's one reason you just shouldn't do this. The second reason I think is actually going to maybe have more of an impact on people, and that is, let's say you carve, you know, I heart so-and-so. 6 months from now, you may not heart so-and-so, but that's going to be on that tree permanently, and every time you go by that tree, you're going to get that reminder of a relationship gone bad. So don't carve that into these trees. All right, so that's the beech tree. That's the first one. Big tree, beautiful tree, and this is a typical tree of these eastern deciduous forests that we're in right now. And now I'm going to walk around here to the second plant that I said is very different from the beech tree, but it actually has a really cool relationship to it. So let me move around to it and I'll show you this cool plant. Here it is, right here. This scrappy looking plant right here. This is called Beechdrops. And what makes this plant so cool is that this is a parasite. So it's a flowering plant, but it's completely parasitic. It's non-photosynthetic. It doesn't produce any green parts. The leaves are what we call vestigial leaves. They're just really tiny little nubbins of leaves. And then what you're seeing here are well, these are where the flowers were at the end of last year, so in the fall. And then they would have produced fruits. So again, it's a flowering plant that doesn't turn green, it doesn't do photosynthesis, but it still produces flowers, it gets pollinated and produces fruits and seeds. And what it does is it taps into, through its roots, it taps into the roots of the beech tree. And so I can be pretty confident that one of these beech trees around here has a root going under here. And then this will tap into it and parasitize it. It'll start sucking the sap out of that tree, and that's how it gets its nutrients. It doesn't usually kill the tree, but it does tap into it, and you know, if I were a beech tree, I wouldn't probably want these chewing on me. So that's the botany lesson for today. Thanks for joining me on this rainy day, and I'll see you again in the next video.